Unless you've had an alcoholic in your family, it's very difficult to understand what the family goes through. It's very difficult to understand. And when you make TikToks like this and you're really vulnerable and you really tell the story because you're genuinely trying to help other alcoholics and families and expose this disease. And when you get a lot of exposure like I have recently, you get a lot of new people in, you get a lot of the same types of questions. So a lot of times I refer people to a file that I have at the top of the page that really asks a lot of common core questions like, how did my wife die? How old was she? Was I part of the problem? Was the spouse part of the problem? Where did she get the alcohol? And were you enabling her? And some of the questions are especially irksome because they don't really have the whole story. And obviously, they don't have an understanding what family goes through. And I think some of them are genuine, and a lot of them are just people are just being people. I'll just say that. But it's especially irksome. We're trying to help people here, and that's really the goal: is to bring this disease out of the closet. So if you do have a question specifically about enabling or where did, like for example, my wife get her alcohol, I'll answer that again on the next. So some of the ways that my wife got alcohol, I mean, she would just steal it. I mean, I know she used to go into stores and just steal whiskey. I mean, I know she did that. She'd have a big Kate Spade bag and she'd be that brazen, literally steal the stuff. Other times she had friends brought it over. She had drinking buddies. They would bring it over, especially when she was after an operation and she was bedridden. I mean, there was always a way to get it. And then she changed accounts. I mean, I took her name off our account. She didn't have access to money eventually, but she would hire, get another ATM card, or she would order a credit card. I mean, she had her own credit. And then later on, she would order DoorDash, and that was especially difficult. I'll go over that in the next segment. And then I think the one that really bothered me was near the end. She raided our son's college fund. I had about $3,000 in a college fund when he was a freshman, so he would have money for food and incidentals while he was at school. And he called me up, God, I think a month into school, and he goes, Dad, the account's empty. What's going on? And I found out most of it was Ubers and alcohol. So she would sneak out at night and go get alcohol. So family, people on the outside have no idea what families go through, especially when you have someone who's a late stage alcoholic. They will get alcohol anyway, any way, anyhow they can, because it becomes the absolute priority in their life. And there was one incident that was especially irksome because I remember it was a fall day. It was probably the 4 months before she passed away. And I remember coming home from work and there was a car in the driveway and I was like, who is this? It was a big enough driveway, so I pulled around it. And it was the delivery person for DoorDash, and they were delivering 2 cases of beer to the front door. And I remember walking up and Amanda's face was just like, oh no, he's home. And it wasn't that she was worried about me. It was just that she had got caught. And I remember yelling at the delivery girl. I go, look, she's an alcoholic. What are you doing bringing 2 cases of beer? And she goes, well, I'm just the delivery person. Don't be yelling at me. I'm like, just beyond frustrated. And the 2 cases of beer sitting in the front step, and I had to walk over them to get into the house. 2 cases of beer. Amanda went upstairs. I remember I took one of the cases and walked into the kitchen, and I literally just smashed the whole case on the kitchen floor. I remember I don't think I'd ever been that angry. It was just, I think, years of just anxiety and just frustration. And I remember there was probably like an inch of just beer floating around in the kitchen eventually, and I had to clean it all up. But it felt good just to smash the case. I think it helped me emotionally, just take the whole case and go, because it was glass. And it was something I think I always wanted to do. But it's actually funny thinking about it. But people on the outside, they don't realize that the alcoholic will do anything, anyway, anyhow to get alcohol. And it has nothing to do with the family that they live in or their spouse or any of that. It's just something, it becomes their priority in their life. And I mean, she would go out at night at 1 o'clock in the morning after I went to bed and take an Uber and go find alcohol and throw it in the bushes. And I mean, it was just a priority. And people don't realize that's the extent of what alcoholics go through. And again, I really make these stories because they don't have anything to really do with me at this point. It's all about talking about bringing this bringing this malady out in the open, out of the closet, and to resonate with alcoholics and other family members, because there's so many people that go through this. I want to do a quick update with what's going on with Amanda's memoir. It's called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. The PayPal button should be up tonight. Today is November 25th. By end of day today or by tomorrow morning, there will be a PayPal button on my website in the link tree, and you can go and pay for it. No, the actual books will be going out in a couple weeks, but it's all set up for pre-orders, and then the day they print them, they'll be sent out all over the world. They can send them anywhere they need to go. But it will be out today, and they can start the process. So it's an exciting day. I just want to do that heads up. And again, thanks for listening.